everyone. Thank you all for coming here. I was actually trying to think what I want to say most in this press conference. And what I would like to say is, 한국을 사랑합니다. So thank you all for this wonderful invitation. I'm really happy to be in Korea again. This is my third time. I have a wonderful relationship with Minungsa, my publisher. And I'm really happy that both my previous books were successful here. And I want to thank for Korean readers for all the feedback they gave me in the emails and Facebook. If you want to be my friend on Facebook, you are welcome to send me a message. I'm happy to be here because I feel at home. I think there is an amazing resemblance between Israel and Korea in so many ways. It begins with the fact that we are surrounded by enemies established in 1948. Both countries' people, hardworking, very innovative, very ambitious. In my previous books, Jerome Becomes a Genius and Secrets of a Super Memory, I wanted to introduce the beauty of Jewish wisdom to the Korean people. And one day I was sitting in a coffee shop in Tel Aviv, in Israel, and I asked a friend, we talked about Korea. And my friend nodded his head and said, yes, Samsung and LG. And I asked him, that's all you know about Korea? So he thought for a second and he said, Gangnam Style. So it was then I realized that I would like to honor Korea and introduce to the Israeli people the beauty and the wisdom of the Korean culture. And in my new book, 5 Gifts for the Mind, I'm dedicating the main character, her name is Misan Park. Did I say that right? With Professor Jerome Zomer. It's a combination of nonfiction and fiction. And I'm bringing 5 different gifts for the mind, amazing things that we can do with our brain that we didn't know we can do, while bringing some of the Korean wisdom. For example, I'm talking about the Sejong the Great, the King, and the Tripitaka Koreana, and many other elements that I wanted to introduce to the Israelis also. And the book, the nonfiction part, the self-help part, is in a suspense, drama, romantic story, I think just like the Koreans love. And the suspense facts in the book are totally real and amazing. They are so amazing that I promise readers when they finish the book, first they will have a very big surprise and they will go check the internet if these facts are real or not. The book has become already a bestseller in Israel, actually ranked #1 on the Israeli bestseller list. And I already have readers that told me that they started to become interested in Korea. And one even said that he booked the ticket to Korea. So I should also get royalties from the Korean Ministry of Tourism. That's my introduction. I think I became interested in Korea the first time I came here. I found this fascinating country. Most people know about China, about Japan, and ever since I saw the progress in Korea every visit I came. And I also think another thing that really made an impression on me, there is a Hebrew word, it's called chutzpah. Chutzpah is courage. I find that in Koreans, companies that are not afraid to compete with big other American companies. I'm talking, for example, Samsung and Apple. Not afraid, and that's, I think that's the key, and that's very impressive. And once again, that really reminded me of how the Jews handled their history, doing things a little bit better. So Korea is very impressive. And actually a lot of people always ask me about the Jewish techniques and how this can help, our memory, our brain power, our kids. I think there is a lot to learn from Korea. And it really reminded me of the Jewish people. And I actually thought that Koreans and Jews were probably brothers separated at birth somehow. So many really similarities, including even coffee shops open till 2 o'clock in the morning, which you can find only in Tel Aviv, not in any place else in the world. And I started just reading about Korea, about the Korean War, about past history. And since I'm always interested in improving the brain and the memory, I was looking for interesting techniques. One of them, for example, is how to shortcut your way in learning languages. And I found out when I read about Sejong's the great invention of Hangul, how he transformed a Korean nation that did not know how to read and write into a Korean nation that can read and write, not in a couple of years, in a month. It took a month with the simplicity of the Hangul language compared to the Hanja. And I found that fascinating and inspiring. So I was introducing this into the book and showing how you can shorten your way into learning language faster. And by the way, in this specific chapter about erasing memories, I used this technique to show how when you introduce something new, you can help you forget previous knowledge. And why would you like to forget previous knowledge? Because sometimes we have to reformat our brain. We erase files we don't need anymore, information that is not necessary, and make room for better memories, better things to help us make progress in life. I think a good memory is an efficient skill. Good forgetfulness is important for our mental health. You're right about the fact that nowadays we have smartphones. In the past, we used to remember numbers, and now we put everything in technology. I do think that phones are becoming smarter, our brains are becoming more stupid. But technology is helpful in many ways. In many ways, it does not help us. Because we will always we will need to trust our memory. There are some things that technology will never replace. For example, speaking a language. If we want to make a conversation with someone, we will not use technology. We have to know how to talk, know how to speak. When we go to exams, we need to rely on our memory. When you travel somewhere, you want to remember where you put your stuff and not be tired. So I think that smartphones are helpful, but we should try to continue working on our brain and memory. It's also beneficial when we get older. That's a good question. I think, like everyone else, I'm fighting my mental laziness. So I do use the memory stunts when I really have to use them. And for my, I do remember most of the numbers actually in my phone. But the speed dial is a problem because I once had to call my daughter and I didn't know the number because it was number 1 on the speed dial, so I had to call my wife. She remembers it better than I do. But the truth is, nothing should be obsessive. It's okay to use technology, and it's okay to use our brain when we need it. The combination is good. Yeah. Well, the best training is to read my books. Anything you do is good. Anything you do to work on your brain is good. Solving crossword puzzles, trying trivia questions, Sudoku, all that is good for your brain. Any kind of mental activity helps your brain. If it's learning a new language, if it's studying something, if it's even preparing a presentation, even listening to the radio and not looking at the TV. That also helps because we use our imagination. Educational TVs, the news, all that triggers our mind to think, that helps. And in a good way, even games we play on the computer or on the smartphones, if they are games we need to think. For example, Angry Birds. That's a brain trainer. And the reason for that, we learn how to make progress by realizing the mistakes we've made. And many times we tell kids if they did something good or bad, we should usually not tell kids, teach kids, reward them by their progress, by their efforts. Saying, you tried very hard here, you did really good. I'm mentioning in the book Mistakes, the chapter about preventing mistakes, there are right mistakes and wrong mistakes. Right mistakes are mistakes that we normally do. For example, launching a product that fails, that's a right mistake. Teaching a kid in a certain way and that doesn't help him, that's a right mistake. A wrong mistake is continuing making the same mistake again and again, not learning from it. Funny analogy to Angry Birds game, we won't continue doing the same mistake because we realize that it's not getting us anywhere. We change what we do. That's what we should do constantly in life. We should change what we do to see if we get better results. The Jewish people were always very good at that. They always asked questions. They never took anything for granted. And they said, how can we do it better? And that's why so many Jewish people won the Nobel Prize. The best education is unconditional love. The rest comes with it. But there's actually a Chinese saying that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. And I never tried to force them anything. I waited for my daughters when they started serious exams at school, when they came to me and they said, okay, can you teach me the techniques? That's when I knew they were ready, and I was, with joy, I taught them memory techniques. I think there's a lot of pressure on kids, especially Korean kids. And I personally think that the way to succeed is if somebody really enjoys what he does, including his studies. Try to be number 2, not number 1. If you try to be number 2, you may be number 1, because you don't have the anxiety and the pressure. You enjoy what you're doing. Many times I'm asked, what is my IQ? I don't know what my IQ is, and I don't care. I don't care because I don't think it's relevant or important. It doesn't matter how smart I am. What does matter, what I can do with it to help other people. It doesn't matter if I can memorize a long number. If I can teach people to do that, that's more important. And that's the way I think we should treat society, ourselves, and life in general. I'm introducing several techniques in the chapter about how to forget certain bad memory, trauma. The best way is, first of all, forgiveness. The word forget and forget sound alike, and it's not a coincidence, because in order to forget, you have to forgive yourself and others. There is a nice technique Jesus used. He said, forgive 77 times. I'm mentioning this in the book. Why 77 times? Because we cannot forgive the first time, not the second time, not the third time. It's too emotional. In order to forget, we have to get rid of the emotions. 70 times, you get rid of the emotions, and then you can start forgetting. Sure. We're going to write here a long number consisting of 20, 30 digits. Each one is welcome to say a number from 0 to 9. Okay, we will write it here. Please go ahead. One by one. Come on. 7. Now, with John's help, up till now, I wrote this number. Now I'm going to memorize it. My memory is more auditory. I have to hear the number read to me. Okay? So John, if you don't mind reading the number, okay? We'll stand here. Now what we do, you say a number, I say yes. Yes is my way to imprint the information in memory. Say the next number, I'll say yes. That's how we will make progress. Okay, let's begin.
9.
Yes.
9.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
1.
Yes.
2.
Yes.
0.
Yes.
5.
Yes.
3.
Yes.
8.
Yes.
7.
Yes.
1.
Yes.
4.
Yes. So from the first digit to the last one, 9, 9, 7, 1, 2, 0, 5, 3, 8, 7, 1, 4, 6, 9, 5, 4, 1, 2, 7, 4, 5, 2, and 8 and 9. Yep. You want to see it backwards from the last digit to the first one? Okay, so backwards we have 9, 8, 2, 5, 4, 7, 2, 1, 4, 5, 9, 6, 4, 1, 7, 8, 3, 5, 0, 2, 1, 7, 9, and 9. Everyone can do this stunt. Okay, I teach that in one of Minumsa's books, Secrets of a Super Memory. Then, then I would just like to say, Kamsahamnida, for coming here. Once again, I really promise that you will enjoy the book. You will find it beneficial. And I want to thank the Korean readers in advance for welcoming me so wonderfully